What's going on, all you Dale Earnhardt Jr. enthusiasts? Your two favorite wild racers are back behind the wheel tonight. We're reviewing a brand new movie for our Cinephellas movie review. We're talking about the brand new film, just came out over this past weekend. Actually went to the #1 spot this weekend. It's based on the Sony PlayStation Classic game series and also based on a true story that actually happened. Pretty phenomenal, actually. It's based on the true story of an impossible dream. We're talking about Gran Turismo.
That is more than just a race. So I'm not going to quit.
You've got to prove to everyone that you belong.
You've raced it, like 1,000 times. Now you just got to do it in real life.
Gran Turismo. Saw the trailer before going to see another flick. I'm like, this looks amazing. This looks like a really great film. And of course, it really is. So, having the chance to see this on the big screen last night, wife and I went. Nobody else was there. Poor people out there. It's like, come on, go support this. But growing up on the video game, PlayStation 1, when this first came out, it really enhanced the experience of being a driver in a race car. And it really, over the years, technology changed a lot, and the series has been ongoing for a very long time. And they finally bringing this to the big screen for us video game nerds and being reminiscent of the old days in the first PlayStation and bringing it to the big screen. And that's exactly what they do with this, with the true story having to do with this kid, middle-class kid. He has big dreams, and he has a chance when he meets with this motorsport exec, played by Orlando Bloom.
Yeah, they're getting together all the best players of Gran Turismo, the PlayStation game. They're getting all the best around the world, and they're going to gather them in one place. And basically the winner of this tournament, they're actually going to get them on site on the racetrack and have them actually get in these cars and race for the opportunity to represent the Nissan racing team. So it's actually a pretty dang cool, true story, and something that you'd think is, only made for the movie. But this actually happened. It's about, this kid that was actually a phenomenal gamer who grew up, racing on Gran Turismo and knew the cars inside and out, knew the lines to take on the track. The attention to detail by the makers of this game are shown in this film too. It shows the original maker of the game, Yamauchi, how he filmed each track and each car with stunning detail, shooting the tracks from helicopters, getting each and every angle of the courses, each and every angle to make everything look and feel exactly like it does out there on the real racetrack. So he used all his experience and his game knowledge to transfer that over when he got to the actual track, going up against the other guys, the other big gamers of this game. And that leads to some really fun action sequences and these fast cars out on the track when he's actually, gets the opportunity to actually drive the race car. It's some pretty phenomenal action scenes. And we must say that this is also directed by Neil Blomkamp, who are usually, used to seeing do these sci-fi films. He comes over, and I thought it was pretty phenomenal, the action sequences and everything he was able to capture in this film and really give it the feeling that this film should have. It should be heart-pounding racing action on screen, and I really liked how they filmed the actual racing.
Yeah, it looked phenomenal. It was like you're in a video game. That's how it felt like in the theater. Just the surround sound, it really captured that intensity, the sweat dripping off their faces when they're driving 200 degrees, going faster than the speed of light, essentially. And these cars just like cranking it. And early on when he's thrown into the car, he's learning how to drive them. These kids have never driven cars before, so they're all kind of learning, and you're not really sure if they're gonna survive or die. But eventually gets a hang of it. He's a natural, and he takes everything he learned in the video game inside and out of the car, takes it to the real life courses, and the course does well. It gets better and better until he gets his actual license to be a professional driver.
Yeah, the head of the Nissan team is played by Orlando Bloom, his character Danny Moore. He doesn't really believe too much. He thinks it might be a mistake if they bring him on for the Nissan team, but eventually he wins him over and shows him that he really does have these skills and it can really transfer over into the real life racing team. And it's because of his more or less coach or crew chief, for the team. Jack Salter, having himself been a racer back in the day, many years before, he's able to see the skills and the knowledge he possesses and sort of give him the knowledge of what he learned over the years racing and really focus all his energy into that. And the two of them work really well together. Later on in the film, you find out why David Harbour's character had to give up racing, and it has to do with something that happens during the film. And that's sort of a turning point. And from there, it just leads into some really intense racing where they actually go to these real race courses and racetracks all around the world in some pretty heart racing and heart pounding action. And all the cars and the racing, it sounds phenomenal on the when you're watching on the big screen. The sound is great. You get that big theatrical experience. You want to watch this in a theater if you can.
Yeah, absolutely. They really capture racing. Even if you're not a fan of racing like myself, it really gets you into it. It's really intense. It keeps you on the edge of your seat, not really knowing what's going to happen next. Are these guys going to survive? Are they going to get into a crazy accident? And it really kind of goes through that throughout the course of the movie. And the relationship between David Harbour and Archie Madekwe is, I believe how you pronounce the actor's name. Really, really good. Felt like a father-son relationship and kind of guides him in life. He was a failed race car driver. He got in a bad accident and gave it up. And so now he's trying to pass down the knowledge to this young guy, not really knowing what he's doing, but really he has the skills to be amazing. So they really form this tight-knit bond and it really gets better throughout the film, leading until the third act, which is really balls to the wall awesome. Going to the final race in France, it's like 24 hours long. So that 3 drivers, obviously you can't drive that long by yourself. So they have to switch out.
Yeah. Le Mans. It's one of the biggest races ever. And it's one that David Harbour's character raced in himself and always had this dream of making it to the podium and finishing really high up. And that kind of is where we find the end of the movie at, which we're not going to spoil, but it's a rousing finale. And at the end, they show you, pictures and video footage of the real racer. They do it in a really cool way too, with the musical choices. And, we won't say anything more about that. Damon Hensu plays dad in the film, the construction worker who sees a gamer, but doesn't really believe that he can really do anything with it. He kind of thinks that he's wasting his life. And playing his mother. Yeah, that was, that was a Spice Girl.
I thought so.
Yeah.
I thought it was. I'm like, we're watching. I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's Ginger Spice, isn't it?
Yeah, it was Ginger Spice. That's right. Jerry Horner. I think she had a different last name back in the day, but yes, that was her. I read that somewhere. So pretty interesting casting choice there by Neil Blomkamp, but good performance from both of the parents. I thought very believable. It was such a long shot. Like, who would ever think somebody playing Gran Turismo could actually go on to actually do awesome and real racing? And it's just, one of those things that happen in life that, it's 1,000,000 to 1 shot. And that's what this movie is. It's much like a Rocky story, kind of, 1,000,000 to 1 shot. And then, something phenomenal happens at the end. But I had a lot of fun with this movie. I played Gran Turismo on PlayStation 2, I think first, and then, over the years played a couple more. I would like to get the new one on PlayStation 5. I bet it's came a long way since I played it last, which was probably like PlayStation 3, I think was the last one. So I'm sure the franchise just keeps on getting better. I remember the detail of the cars and the tracks back then was phenomenal. So I can only imagine how much better it is now. And it would be cool to get the steering wheel and everything too, but don't really have it in the budget for all that, but it would be cool to go back into the Turismo world, especially after this movie. I'm hoping that as the weeks go on, more people give it a chance and are able to see the film. I feel that the film was under marketed. Unfortunately, it should have been marketed way more. You didn't see too many ads leading up to it. It was kind of like, oh yeah, Gran Turismo is coming out this weekend. And, it was able to go to number 1, but I think it could have made a lot more had it been marketed more efficiently. Should have been all over PlayStation. It should have been on, sporting events. Maybe it was shown on some of the racing programs. I'm not sure. I haven't really stayed up to date on racing or anything like that, but I feel like they missed an opportunity on here. Every cinema goer should have been seeing previews months back, even with a couple weeks ago, even with Barbenheimer. I didn't see any previews with those either. So it just feels like a missed opportunity, but this is a film you want to see. Go see it in the theater, the biggest screen and the most, loudest sound system possible.
What a pleasant surprise. Like you said, didn't see much about this, just a trailer before seeing another movie. Missed opportunity by PlayStation. They just had a gaming convention recently, watched the entire thing, didn't see anything about this movie. The marketing was terrible, but it's a movie you have to go see for sure. Support this movie so we can see more movies like this. I'd like to see more video game adaptation turned into live action, especially PlayStation property. Huge fan of that console, have been since the beginning. So I want to see more of these, God of Wars, Last of Us, obviously HBO, but more of these coming to live action movies, TV shows. A good time to be a gamer and a movie fan at the same time. But I had a really great time with this. Love the cast of this movie. Love the heart. Love a true underdog story. Succeeding, not giving up on your dreams. A lot of messages here and done really greatly. The movie's 2 hours and 15 minutes long. Goes by pretty fast. You're invested in this movie. So even though it's a little longer, you don't really feel it. You get wrapped up in the story and the great racing, action scenes, cinematography, camera, score. So go see this movie as soon as possible. That being said, I'm going to give Gran Turismo now, speeding into theaters and playing everywhere. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5 David Harbour hairpieces.
Absolutely. I agree with everything that you said. And I'm going to give Gran Turismo the same exact score, a 4 out of 5 Orlando Bloom hairpieces.
But I want to hear from all you wild video game enthusiasts out there. What did you like about Gran Turismo? What didn't you like about it? What's your favorite video game in the series? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to click subscribe. Also, check out these wild gamers on Facebook, X, and Instagram, and our website, Cinephellas.com, for the latest, greatest TV, movie news and reviews.
Speaking of Orlando Bloom, man, we've got to get on his healthcare regimen. Let's go drink some elf blood like him. That's how he remains youthful looking.
With a ripped physique.
So thank you guys for watching our review of Gran Turismo. We hope you guys get a chance to see this film, and we want to hear from you guys. So until the next Cinephellas movie review, I'm Uncle Henry Hill, and that's my good mate over there,
Logan Blumkamp. Sign out until the next movie review. Cheers.